Good evening and welcome to Up South, your one-stop destination for all the top news stories of the day from South India. With me, T.S. Sudhir. Yesterday, we had brought you extremely disturbing images from Tamil Nadu of toddlers being forced to drink and chew tobacco. The stories that we are bringing you today from Hyderabad and Coimbatore are equally horrifying, if not more. Hyderabad woke up today to a tale of a 19-year-old girl being tortured badly, allegedly by her stepmother, even as her biological father was a mute witness. The Child Rights Commission today rescued her, but she was found with her injury marks all over her body. She said she was tortured by her stepmother. The girl told the police that she was beaten with rods and a hammer, made to drink phenyl, and her face rubbed with bathroom cleaner liquid. She was given no food for days at end and was desperately trying to escape the hell she was in. Doctors told us there are injury marks on her body where her hand cannot even reach.
We are going to register a case against her father and stepmother under section 307 and wrongful discharge and 326 for grievous injuries which are on her body.
Neighbors know everything what was going on here, but they never revealed this thing. Because of if they lodge some complaint with the police or thing, they have to go, and that stigma has not gone out of their mind. Still that is there, but only a call has come.
A similar story coming from Coimbatore town in Tamil Nadu, where a 3-year-old boy suffered burn injuries after the landlady of the house placed a heated spoon on his cheek and foot for playing near their house. The motherless boy is under the care of his grandparents, who did not report, fearing that they may be asked to vacate the house. But the Child Welfare Committee has now recommended that an FIR be filed. Joining me now on the phone line is child rights activist Isidore Phillips from Hyderabad. Mr. Phillips, yesterday we reported on those toddlers who were being forced to drink or chew tobacco. But today's case coming from Hyderabad in particular of the 19-year-old girl who has been suffering this kind of torture for years at end. She was at an orphanage where apparently the husband of the director had also sexually abused her. There is a complaint which was filed with the police. What do you say to this kind of parenting which obviously resorts to this kind of violence against the child?
It's disgusting, actually. One very important thing that we are also looking at, Sudhir, is basically if there's a general assumption, perception in the society that home is the safest place for children. Sometimes it is not true, and I think this is something that we will have to recognize. Two, I think the child was 19-year-old, old enough, but it's very sad that the child didn't even get access to help from outside. No source of communication with outside, a telephone line or a number. And I think we as a system, as a society, we have failed thoroughly in terms of actually informing her in terms of what is it that the child can do. That is why this large-scale programs in schools, in colleges, where if at all you face any difficulty, whom do you call, whom do you talk to, is something that we have actually failed in putting in place. And second thing is, parenting is also a big, huge issue today in the country, basically because we believe that just because you have a child, you don't become a parent. You don't become a parent
Yes.
just because you have a baby. But parenting is a skill, and that needs to be learned. And unfortunately, in our system, nothing is done. Right from the time an Anganwadi, the child comes in, right from the time the pregnant mother is being taken care of for nutrition, but nothing is where the child, the woman or the father are not even prepared for the child that is to come. What is it that they can do? What can they do? And I think that is another missing area. The third thing is in terms of any abuse by the parents has to be treated as an abuse. There needs to be a zero tolerance vis-a-vis when we are actually talking to children. Be it the landlady, be it the mother, be it the father, be it the teacher. Nobody has got any business to abuse a child.
Absolutely. Very strong words and very well put there, Isidore Phillips. Absolute zero tolerance to this kind of behavior by parents or anyone else in the society required. Isidore Phillips, thanks a lot for joining us on Up South with that perspective. We'll continue to track this story, but absolutely unimaginable trauma suffered by that 19-year-old girl in Hyderabad. Now, day before yesterday, Telugu actor Pawan Kalyan had taken on both the Telangana Rashtra Samiti as well as the Telugu Desam in his perspective on the cash for vote scam as well as the allegations of phone tapping. in both Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Today, speaking to India Today, filmmaker Ram Gopal Verma called the actor rather guarded in his approach and therefore unclear about what exactly he wants. The cocktail of films and politics in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana really getting to a new high now, with many organizations actually protesting against Pawan Kalyan, who actually tweeted today that he's even willing to go to jail or go to court in response to the protest by the advocates in Telangana.
I think in his head he somewhere doesn't want to be too upfront, so he wants to be guarded. I think he's guarded, he's not confused, because he's speaking so many things in the thing, it comes across confused. But I think inside his mind is being guarded, which he was not. I mean, when he announced the party or the intention, how he said it, it came across to us that he will be like a daredevil and very aggressive in his, whatever he wants to say. But the moment he starts feeling guarded, obviously the whole punch will go and it doesn't come across.
Filmmaker Ram Gopal Verma not known to mince his words either. News now from Kerala. The Finance Minister of Kerala, K.M. Mani, is a clean man. Much to the surprise of many, that's now official after the Vigilance Department informed the court that there can be no case made against the Finance Minister, especially in regard to the bar bribery scam in which the Bar Association members had accused Mani of taking a bribe of 1 crore rupees from them. It requested that further action be dropped in the case. Joining me now from Thiruvananthapuram is my colleague Revati Rajivan. Revati, the clean chit given to K.M. Mani has surprised Mani, but definitely it's a shot in the arm for both Mani as well as the UDF. Now, do we see the UDF and K.M. Mani in particular going on the aggressive now in Kerala?
Well, 9 months after investigation into the bar bribery case, after filing an FIR against Finance Minister K.M. Mani, the Vigilance has stated that there is no sufficient evidence to go further with this case. Now, although K.M. Mani has remained silent on this issue before the court can say anything, his party has gone all aggressive, has filed a defamation case against Biju Ramesh demanding compensation of rupees 10 crore. Now, we have to wait to see what the court has to say, but clearly UDF and Mani will take a political capital out of this, saying that K.M. Mani was falsely accused of taking bribe, and they hope that this will fetch them a political dividend, a very good political dividend in the coming elections. Sudhir.
Right, Revati, thanks a lot for joining us there from Thiruvananthapuram. Now, you do not really expect to see this in India's most literate state. Textbooks have not been provided for students in any school in Kerala, even though it's more than a month since the schools reopened after the summer vacation. And in that sense, Kerala does not remain a textbook state, both literally and metaphorically. Revati Rajivan sent us this report from Thiruvananthapuram.
Manish is in class 10. Like most students in Kerala, this academic year he too has not got his textbooks. It has been a month since school reopened, but textbooks have still not been provided to students. Manish, who is the son of a daily wage labourer, says he does not have access to a system.
ബുക്കൊന്നും കിട്ടാത്തതുകൊണ്ട് വീടിൻ്റെ അടുത്തുള്ള പിള്ളേരുടെ അടുത്താണ് പോയി പഠിക്കുന്നത്. ചില ടെസ്റ്റുകളൊക്കെ ടീച്ചർ പഴയ ടെസ്റ്റൊക്കെ വെച്ച് ഫോട്ടോ കോപ്പിയൊക്കെ എടുത്താണ് പഠിക്കുന്നത്. ടെസ്റ്റൊന്നുമില്ല, നെറ്റൊന്നുമില്ല, ഞങ്ങളുടെ വീട്ടിൽ നെറ്റൊന്നുമില്ല, ഫേസ്ബുക്കിൽ നെറ്റ് അങ്ങനെയുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങളൊന്നുമില്ല.
While the government justifies the delay by pointing the change in syllabus for classes 2, 4, 6 and 8, there is no excuse for other classes. At the school in Thiruvananthapuram, not a single copy of science, IT and maths has been delivered.
നമുക്ക് സമയബന്ധിതമായി നമുക്ക് പഠിപ്പിച്ച് കൂടെ തീർത്തു പോകണമല്ലോ. ഫോട്ടോകോപ്പി എടുത്തും മറ്റുമായി അവരുടെ ചുമതലകൾ നിർവഹിക്കുന്നതിന് വേണ്ടിയുള്ള വളരെ ശ്രമകരമായ ഇത് നടത്തിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നു. എന്നാൽ അത് എത്രമാത്രം വിജയിക്കുമെന്ന് നമുക്ക് തന്നെ അറിയില്ല. അതുകൊണ്ട് തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും കുട്ടികൾക്ക് ഒരു 500 1000 രൂപ മുടക്കി ഇത് ഫോട്ടോ കോപ്പി എടുക്കാനോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ മറ്റ് ബുക്കുകൾ സമ്പാദിച്ച് ചെയ്യാനോ എന്നുള്ള സാമ്പത്തിക ശേഷിയുള്ള കുട്ടികളല്ല നമ്മളെ പൊതുവിദ്യാലയങ്ങളിൽ എത്തുന്നത്.
The Students' Federation of India has taken to the streets to protest against this failure to provide textbooks. At many places, the protest even turned violent.
Now there is a talk of postponing the first quarterly exams in Kerala schools. Clearly, there is disappointment in the shoddy management of the State Education Department, which now says the textbooks will be distributed only by the end of July. With camera person Jayakumar, Revati Rajman in Thiruvananthapuram, Point India Today.